All right, fellas. You know what time it is. This ain't ESPN, this is the APFA podcast. E? We talking all pro football every single week. Game day stories and the inside leak. From the booth to the field, from the fans to the plays. We break it all down in our own kind of way. No scripts, no suits, no fake hot takes. Just real ones talking what the game creates. We laugh, debate, tell it straight, and keep that football energy great. Welcome to the APFA. Kick your feet up, it's game day. We got story stats and a couple wild laughs. And that, did you see that kind of flash? Yeah, it's the APFA, where football meets the hangout way. So grab your drink and press play. It's the All Pro Football Association Day. Yeah. From Sunday lives to the Monday memes, we talk the highs, the lows, the dreams. From rookie talk to legend pride, we bring the locker room vibe worldwide. We got coaches, fans, and a mic or two, telling it real like the players do. No filters here, we say it raw. That's how we love this game we saw. It's passion, people playing loud with the voice of the football crowd. From kickoff to overtime, that's the show. If you love the game, then you already know. Welcome to the APFA. Kick your feet up, it's game day. Good friends, good ball, that's our lane. It's the All Pro Football Association train. Yeah, we're talking all pro, every play with the APFA. Let's talk football today. Yeah. It's the All Pro Football Association train. Yeah, we're talking all pro, every play with the APFA. Let's talk football today. It's the All Pro Football Association train.
Good evening, APFA. I am here this time again with Dave Barr. Dave, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, Colin. We've got cold drinks in front of us, and life is good.
Life is good. And life is good in the APFA. I can't believe it's coming down to the wire. We're in our last week of the regular season.
Who would have ever expected? I mean, it's got to be, for you guys, for all of us that worked hard to set up this league, pretty exciting to be able to go into the last week of the season knowing that every single team is still alive for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we talked about that a couple times this week on the phone, and I think we both agree that that is a tribute to the competitiveness that we have in the league.
You could almost rename this league the Shark Tank Football League because there's some seriously good ownership and some good knowledge of the game. And, I'm kind of in awe of all that because I think that there are some very experienced owners who know APF really well.
Yep.
And so it's made for a far more competitive environment than I ever really would have imagined.
Yep, I agree. It's been a lot of fun. The fun's not over yet. We have a super exciting week ahead of us where there's a lot on the line for each and every team playing. We have a lot to discuss tonight. We are going to, as always, talk about our recap from the week we just finished up. We are going to have a new segment where you pick out a couple builds and look at it from some different angles. You're going to look at it from your sim coach perspective and from your real life football perspective. And we're going to hash out some of these builds.
All right.
We're going to have some fun with that. We're going to talk playoff situations because there is a lot to unravel there. We are going to give away a couple awards. We talked about maybe somewhere down the road this season going to do an awards ceremony. Well, we're going to get that primed a little bit tonight with a couple team awards going out. So stick around for that. And then we are going to talk about our power rankings going in to the last week, as well as our matchups and who we like going into week 10. Lastly, we're going to finish with some of our betting lines, put together a couple parlays that we think we like. But before we get into any of that, we have something that I'm really excited about. We've been doing our unofficial weekly sponsors, and you don't really know what's going on here, but I am going to have you read off your unofficial sponsors. First of all, thank you for sponsoring this week.
You're welcome.
I had no idea that you were in charge of this, so I'm super excited to see what you have to say.
All right. Tonight's episode of Commissioner's Chat is proudly sponsored by Bar and Order, the APFA's premier legal defense team for owners who make absolutely indefensible football decisions. Have you been accused of running the same play 8 times in a row because it worked once? Did you draft a player with 87 speed and claim he plays faster? Have you been caught telling your locker room you're building for next season? In a league that's only been around for 9 weeks? At Bar and Order, we understand that sometimes you're not wrong, you're just misunderstood. For example, was that a botched fake punt or a bold statement of identity? Did you forget to assign progression points, or were you strategically embracing adversity? Is your quarterback terrible, or is he simply ahead of where the meta will be in Season 3? We don't just defend your actions, we justify your legacy. Our services include, but are not limited to, the following legal problems: draft malpractice defense, playbook negligence arbitration, emotional damages caused by the Pungo Picaroons, cease and desist orders against opponents who run the ball too much, and of course, expungement of your 62-point loss from league memory. And if you're a repeat offender, don't worry. Bar and Order offers payment plans because bad decisions are the only currency some owners have. Bar and Order, football justice for those who have none. Because here in the APFA, you may not win games, but with us, you'll never lose the argument.
Amazing. Where did you get your law degree, Dave?
You know, I did that in my spare time when I was studying to be a teacher. Yeah.
Well, I just think this is funny. It cracked me up, especially the emotional damage from the Pungo Picaroons.
No doubt.
You know, even AI is starting to learn that the Picaroons are everybody's biggest intimidating factor. So that was cool. That was your unofficial weekly sponsor. Let's move forward and talk about the Week 9 games. Let's start with the first one. Not on this list, but the first that started, I believe, was Saturday morning. We have Appalachia at Munich. Appalachia with the big upset, 26-13.
You know, I don't think there's a hotter team in the APFA right now than the Appalachian Outlaws. And I would imagine there are some teams around the league that are hoping they don't even get into playoffs because who would want to face those guys right now?
They are super hot and really dominant. I mean, beating the number 1 team in the league in their home field, in their home stadium, is a big statement, and by a couple touchdowns.
They had control of that game really throughout. I believe I watched part of that, and man, they looked really good.
Yep, Munich could not produce anything on the ground or in the air. Appalachia really threw the receiver of Rob Hunt was the big difference maker. Rob Hunt was your player of the game, had 10 catches for 256 yards, maybe an APFA record.
So he's somewhat Steezy-like in his approach to playing football.
Very Steezy-like. I mean, 25 yards per catch. What if you had a receiver that was putting up 25 yards a catch for more than 2 or 3 catches?
Well, first off, I'd be questioning, why did we only throw the ball to him 10 times? Of course, I'm talking about in real life, obviously. I mean, if he's got that big of a mismatch, I'd want to throw it to him 20 times if I could get it to him.
Yeah. But huge game for Appalachia, keeping their playoff dreams alive. That was a big win for them.
Sure was.
In the playoff hunt. So, our next game was the Georgia Demons at London. London really putting their foot down after a bad streak there for them, winning 48-24. This game came down to turnovers. Georgia had 3 turnovers. Georgia had twice as many passing yards, but had 3 turnovers. That was the difference maker, in my opinion.
You know, I kind of feel like you could almost say about either one of these teams, they would win. Here's an unofficial award. I'm just going to make it up off the fly here. The Jekyll and Hyde football team of the season, because they play great one week and then they stink the next. I mean, it's mind-boggling, you know, that they, and especially out of London, you know, like I thought they would be right up there with Pungo, the way they played early in the year.
Yeah.
And they've had a couple games where they just didn't look as good.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Jekyll and Hyde's a great award for that team. Though player of the game was London running back Ray King Ball, had 13 rushes for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns, 40 yards receiving. Your next game was Pungo at Hampton Roads. Pungo barely squeaks by a 1-point win, 35-34. Close one for the Neptunes.
You know, I'm as baffled by Pungo as I still just go back to, I really thought the legend of T-Pat and what I thought he was going to bring in terms of playbook ability, I just thought no one's going to touch him this year. He's going to be 10-0, and we're all going to be sick of him and want to kick him out of the league. And I don't know if he's hedging his bets and taking it easy on us or what's going on there, but it's probably more of a statement about the overall quality of the ownership in this league.
Yeah, yeah. But Neptunes, I'm sure that one stung. Probably with that win, they would have clinched playoffs. Mm-hmm. So that one could come back to bite them. One point could have been the difference maker.
That's how close this entire league is right now, though. I was looking at, just in my own head today, looking through the potential tiebreakers, and man, you've got to have about a half a degree in calculus to keep up with all the things that could happen right now.
That's true. I know that. I spent 2 hours down here in the basement trying to figure it out. And then I still got some wrong once I started sending them out. But Pungo doing what Pungo does. Player of the game, quarterback Jackson Roberts with over 500 passing yards, 5 touchdowns.
Has he been under 500 in any game this year?
I don't know. He's probably had a couple high 400 games, but just incredible. Just incredible. Our last game, Pottsville at DC. Pottsville coming away with the win, 45-34. Dave, any thoughts on that game?
I was really happy for Keith Wheeler. He's quietly been a steadfast leader in our locker room, and numbers haven't been overwhelming most weeks. Mm-hmm. And then he goes off for 200 yards rushing. So I was really happy for him in that game the other night. And of course, we have stumbled across something defensively that has allowed us to get a few stops here and there. 3 weeks ago, we couldn't stop anything.
Yeah.
And we've played reasonably well defensively for 2 weeks.
Yep. I mean, is this your first 200 rushing yard game?
Yeah. He was over 100 in the first game, and then I think he's been under 100 since then. So it's really a breakout. It shows what he's capable of doing.
Yep.
When we give him good blocking. And so, I was very happy for him as a user to have that kind of a game in a game that we had to have. I told our guys in our locker room that we are really already in the playoffs, because for us, our next loss really kind of ends our season. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be true this week too.
Yep. Well, Keith Wheeler definitely proving to be player of that game. 2 touchdowns on the ground, over 200 yards rushing, and also had himself a receiving touchdown. So the man was busy.
He was busy.
Okay, that was our Week 9 recap. We are going to go ahead and head into a new segment that we're calling Dave's Player Breakdown, where Dave has picked 2 players for us to go over tonight. We have an offensive player and a defensive player. We're going to pull up their builds. We're going to discuss them. I wonder if I can pull something up here. Let me see if I can do something here. You want to go ahead and talk about it while I try to pull something up?
Sure. My first build that I looked at that made me scratch my head a little bit was our boy Ken Highway Star Lettermeyer. I'm assuming that Ken has listened to some Deep Purple at some point in time in his life. Do you even know the band Deep Purple? Have you heard of them?
I've heard of it. Is it like Prince?
Well,
no, it's not.
they're sort of got this metal thing going on. Their most famous song was "Smoke on the Water."
Oh yeah, Smoke on the Water.
You got it.
See, I got you.
You got it. But they also had a song called "Highway Star," and it makes me wonder if he's thinking about that music as he was putting his build together for his player.
Oh, here, I got this pulled up.
Awesome.
So, so let's talk about Ken the Highway Star Lettermeyer.
I don't know how you say it.
Okay, so
Lederhosen.
tell me what's the first thing kind of pops into your head when you see wide receiver, 6'3", 195 pounds. Before we get into the animations, let's just talk demographics.
Can you be any more middle of the road? I mean, 6'3", 195, ho-hum, who cares?
What do you want to see?
Well, I want a guy that is long-bodied and explosive. And 6'3", 195 just sounds like the guy you stand next to at the urinal at halftime.
Okay. So give us your ideal height-weight range for a receiver.
I want a guy who is longer bodied than that, probably like 6'5", about 210. I was looking at a few of the builds. There are some guys out there that are 225. I kind of feel like in our game that's maybe just a fuzz too heavy for a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So I ran, just our guy Goat Jackson, who has been a better player for us here recently since moving up to WR1. I like his build, and I look at this 6'3", 195, and there's nothing that stands out about that. He's not terribly tall.
Okay.
He doesn't have strength on his side. I just think he could be
one or the other. You'd like to see either a little longer, a little taller, or a little bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to go shorter, then you want to be like a slot player and a return specialist, then I could see a guy being like 5'8", 5'9", someone who's going to be very agile with sudden burst of speed.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Knowing that Ken the Highway Star also has Route God, does that change anything for you? Let's talk about animations on a receiver.
I think that helps to a great degree.
I agree.
Route God is probably one of the, wouldn't you say maybe like one of the top 2, maybe 3 animations a wide receiver can have?
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like it too. And so, I mean, he's made up for being kind of underwhelming with his build. He at least has the right animation. I don't know what his stats have looked like, but
we don't really know either.
Yeah,
so.
He is what he is.
So let me ask you this then. Obviously, the man can't change his height and weight, but he's going to be collecting progression points. It says here right now he has 9 progression points saved. Do you have any suggestions for development of this build?
Well, the next animation, in my opinion, that he ought to be looking at is soft hands. I think that's a big one for a receiver.
Okay, very good. So there you have it. There is player number 1 that we are talking about. Now, what do you got for the next one?
Well, I mean, as long as we're going to bust people's chops, I'm going to suggest that this particular player change his nickname. And you guys will all know who we're talking about here. Dane Jensen, who calls himself the Lock, 6'5", 260. And I think that what he ought to, I'm not saying we had a camera in our locker room for our game, but I've seen his build up front.
Okay.
I think his new nickname ought to be Biscuit, because he's about a biscuit away from 300.
How about the Lock? We call him the Safe.
We could call him the Safe. Yeah, could call him the Safe. He's maybe the chunkiest wide receiver in the league, in my opinion.
Linebacker. I think he is. I think he is the biggest linebacker as far as his build goes.
He's chunked it up a little bit.
So, animations are coverage bonus. Thoughts on that?
If I'm looking at a linebacker, the first thing I want him to do is be a really good tackler.
So you're thinking wrap up tackle,
Wrap up tackle would be a
run
good one.
coverage.
Yeah, run coverage possibly.
Okay. I'll tell you what my favorite is for a linebacker, especially a middle linebacker. I think you know where I'm going with this. Leadership.
Yeah, because that attribute, from what we've been told, makes everybody around him better.
It's speculation, but I think if it's going to work, it's going to work on a linebacker.
Yeah, especially the mic.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that's good thinking.
So, yep. So maybe suggestion for the locks build is to maybe focus on either a tackling animation. One we didn't mention was what's the one that really makes the aggressive hits?
Well, first off, footsteps, I think, is that one, isn't it?
Footsteps is the one that that makes the receiver miss the ball because he hears footsteps. I think it might be big hit or
Yeah, I think you're right.
high helmet tackle.
High helmet tackle.
High helmet tackle. So
Yeah, you might go with that. Now, if they had an Ozempic animation, I would suggest that maybe he do that and knock a little bit of that weight off that belly. But
oh, that's good.
just a thought.
Okay, we might. I wonder if we can add some of these in. If Luke would add them in, and then Liam can add them to the website, and then we can just have Luke take weight off of their player when they buy the animation. That's an idea. Somebody write that down. Zach, you're in the chat. Write that down. All right, very good. So now that we've done picked on 2 players. For player breakdown, let's pick on some teams and the difficult situations that we are setting in going into playoffs. So, for those who do not know, Munich, Pungo, and London have already clinched playoffs. I made this graphic with ChatGPT. I told it that London made the playoffs and that it should put a check mark, but it didn't. So,
You know, ChatGPT is going to do what it's going to do.
well, anyways, the top 3 teams here have already clinched playoffs. So what we're talking about is the bottom 5 here. And the situations are tricky. We have a system set up in the rule book that we go by. First, we look at overall record. If there are any teams that are tied with overall record, we look at their head-to-head record. And if there are any teams tied with head-to-head record, we look at what we're calling net points. So that would be the net points you've scored over the season. So for most of the teams that will be using this on, that number is negative. So interesting stuff. But
Okay.
who do you want to talk about first? You just want to go down the list?
Sure.
Okay. Hampton currently sets at 4-5. Long story short, if they win, they're in. If they lose, things get a little hairy. If they lose, what they need is for Pottsville to also lose.
Okay.
If the Neptunes lose and Pottsville also loses, Hampton will make the playoffs because Hampton has a win with the net points column.
Okay.
You two have played each other. It was a 1-1 victory. You won 1, they won 1 in your matchups.
Yeah.
So then it goes to net points. And so that's what we're looking at for Hampton.
You know, I think a theme that's going to be here is that the Pottsville Maroons might be easily the most hated team in Week 10 because there's about 3 teams that need us to lose. We're probably going to be hearing a lot of boos.
I don't think there's a single team that needs you to win.
Right. They don't need us to win.
I think they all need you to lose.
But I do know this, that Steezy plays his best when there's a hostile crowd around. So I'm sort of thinking all that negative energy is going to be good for him.
Yep. So let's talk about DC. DC, again, if they win, they're in. If they lose, they also need the Demons to lose, and they need Pottsville to lose.
Okay. I'm feeling the hate here.
So they are going to need 2 teams to lose if they also lose. But if they win, they're in. So now Hampton and DC both play each other this week.
Ooh.
Okay? So one of them are going to lose.
Can I tell you a story here?
Sure.
When I was in high school, I didn't know what this meant at the time. But we would get into two-a-days. And, of course, you know, you're competing for playing time when you're in two-a-days. And I remember our head coach calling it nut-cutting time. And I didn't really know what he meant by that. Years later, I figured out he was looking for someone who was willing to cut off a nut to get on the playing field. And I think this Hampton Roads DC game might be the Nut Cutter Bowl.
Okay, I can get behind that. That makes nothing but sense to me.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The Nut Cutting
Nut
Bowl.
Cutter Bowl.
But yeah, so basically the winner of that game is making the playoffs. The
Yeah.
loser is going to have some contingencies.
Yeah, they're going to need Pottsville to lose as part of it.
Yep. Yep. So, all right. Let's talk about Pottsville. Pottsville, straight and simple. If you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out.
It's that simple. I mean, I did the same research that you did. I couldn't come up with anything where if we lost, that the right people losing would put us in.
Uh-huh.
So, as I mentioned to our guys in the locker room again this week, we got to play with a playoff mentality. This is a playoff game for us.
Yep.
If we win, our season goes on. If we lose, time to put the helmets away.
I like that mindset. How are they taking it?
My guys, they're a wild and crazy bunch, and there's been some heads without helmets bashed off the wall in the locker room this week. We've had a handful of fist fights in practice, so I think we're going to play hard, and we'll see.
Yep. So, good deal. All right, let's talk about the team that's been surprising us all the last few weeks, Appalachia. Appalachia, if they win, they're in. If they lose, then they need DC and Pottsville to lose. Are we getting a theme here?
Yeah, the most hated team in the league right now are the Pottsville Maroons.
Yep. So Appalachia does not have a head-to-head victory against Hampton Roads. That's why DC has to lose. Okay? Because he has a head-to-head win against Pottsville and DC.
So is it as simple as if DC wins, Appalachian's out?
No, because even if Appalachia wins, they're in.
Ah, okay.
Because Appalachia will beat Georgia. Georgia will have a lower record. And then one team between Hampton Roads and DC is going to lose and be at 4 and 6.
Yeah,
still.
you're right.
So Appalachia will make it if they win. So, but that's what Appalachia's situation is. And the last team, the Georgia Demons. This was the team I started with the situations, and it made my head hurt. So let's start from what happens if they lose.
They're out.
They're out.
Yeah, simple as that.
Simple as that. If they lose, they're out. If they win, any guesses what they need?
I got one of them is they need Pottsville to lose.
They need Pottsville to lose. That's it.
So what you're telling me is that every one of these 5 remaining teams looking for a playoff spot, they all need a Pottsville loss.
That's exactly
Am I hearing
right.
you correct on
That's
that?
exactly right.
Man, I love it.
Yep. Georgia has head-to-head victory against Pottsville and Appalachia.
Okay.
So if they beat Appalachia the second time, they'll be tied in record, and the head-to-head will take over. So
Okay.
Appalachia will be kicked out, and Pottsville will be kicked out if you lose. So
Okay.
that's the situation for Georgia.
So if they win, they need some help. If they lose, they get the number 1 draft pick. Mm-hmm. I wonder what kind of motivation Luke has for that game.
I can tell you, Luke wants to win.
He does seem pretty competitive.
Luke wants to win. He's not thinking about where his draft picks are going to be next
Yeah.
season. I can tell you that. He's in the chat. I see him in the chat. I can tell you he's trying to win this game.
I've had some really good conversations with him about the game itself, and I would totally agree with you that he is as competitive as anybody is.
Yep.
He probably needed some antidepressant medicine after last week's game. I know he was feeling rough. That I think he felt pretty confident they were going to come away with a win,
Yeah.
and then it didn't work out. But I mean, that's been true for a lot of teams this year,
Right.
us included. I mean, I've had games where I thought we'll beat these guys, and then we don't tackle anybody the entire game, and so
That's right. So those are your playoff situations. Exciting stuff. It's a
every
lot.
game is important. Man, I just love that.
Yep.
This is what the NFL has been trying for 30 years to do, and we did it in one.
We did it the first time.
The first time. They need to hire us to run that league.
That sounds like a good idea.
Especially if
What
there's
could go wrong?
Nice salary package there.
Wait, we make money doing this?
We do?
Do we?
Do.
You get a free beer every time you come here.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, then that's pay enough for me.
All right. Well, let's give away a couple awards, Dave.
All right.
Okay. So I've got these awards lined up, and you're going to be dishing them out. So
All right.
I'm gonna throw them up here. Going to tell the people what they are, and you're going to be deciding who they go to.
All right.
Okay, so first up with our awards series is what we are going to call the Not Dead Yet Award. So this goes to the team that has really fought to the end, and against all odds, they still have a chance to make the playoffs. A team that at the beginning, we felt like they were dead in the water, but they have somehow stuck it out, and now playing one final game for a chance to make the playoffs. So which team or player, in your opinion, deserves the We Are Not Dead Yet award?
Well, I guess this is going to sound like a little bit like a homer pick for me, but I think that it is us. I think it's the Pottsville Maroons.
Okay.
And along with that is our buddy Steezy, because, I look at that picture on this graphic, and that dude has been the leader of our locker room in saying, let's go. We're not, this is not over. We're going to get it. Every week, that guy is saying, we're going to win.
I like that.
We're going to win. He's been a great leader for us.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. So, all right. So Pottsville and or Steezy.
Yes.
Okay. So it's going to be hanging up in Steezy's locker room.
Undoubtedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. The next,
Probably have a jockstrap hanging over top of it, knowing Steezy.
how about the Ghost Award? This goes to the team and or owner or player that was really here and present at the beginning of the season, but now has kind of fallen off the radar. Who gets the Ghost Award?
Do we get to rename their team the Ghost for next year?
I can think of one person who would really like that.
Yeah, we used to be around a guy who wanted to be called the Ghost all the time. I think I've got to go with the London Knights here.
Okay. I think that's fair. So, Liam brought a lot of energy, and he still does a lot for the league, right? We're not. This isn't a bashing award.
No, this
just
is
a silly thing that we're throwing out.
We if you're our friend, we bust your nuts.
I like that.
That's fair. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's fitting. Now Liam has had some things going on. Who doesn't in life? Everybody's got their things, but so we're going to be shipping this one across the pond.
I think that's perfect.
As they say. So, very good. The Flying Dutchman Award goes to Liam. What's his last name?
Hammer?
No, that's a different Liam.
That's a different Liam?
That's a different Liam.
I don't know. What is Liam's last name?
I don't know.
Should we make up a last name for him?
Make up a British one.
British. Can we call him Liam Tea-Sipper?
Yeah, you can.
I can do that?
I think you should. I think you should. Okay. The next one, the last one, the Elmer's Glue Award goes to the team that is just barely keeping it together. Okay, this is almost similar to the We're Not Dead Yet award, but this is a team that maybe started out strong and is starting to fall apart, for lack of better words, and maybe just like a race car going around the track, starting off strong, and as things are falling off the car at the finish line, that is the Elmer's Glue Award. Again, this could be a team, this could be a player, this could be an owner.
Well,
Putting you on the spot with this one.
Yeah, you say it that way, and then I have a handful of ideas in my mind. Because I was picturing Elmer's Glue being the guy who needs the glue because he's hanging on to his playoff hopes
Oh,
by a thread.
okay. Well, we can change this.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like your thing too.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the DC Tribe.
Ooh. Okay.
I mean, they
Started off so hot.
They did. They played well early on. Mm-hmm. And
I think that's appropriate.
yeah, I think so.
Think about how strong the Tribe started off. In my opinion, top 2 teams.
Yeah,
It was a top 2 team at the beginning, but here we find them in week 10 needing to get a win to make playoffs.
Yeah,
That screams Elmer's Glue Award to me.
I think so.
So
I
DC
think
Tribe.
so. Hey, a question about Elmer's glue.
Okay, is it made from horses?
No, I'm just wondering. When you were a kid, did you ever eat any of that?
No, just Play-Doh.
Just Play-Doh. Okay, all right.
Did
I grew
you?
up with some. No, I didn't eat any of it, but I saw a lot of kids who would eat Elmer's glue, and so
Do I remind you of those kids?
I was just curious. No, not really.
What's your point?
No, just
What are you saying?
well, you grow up around kids, and then you wonder, like, is this person sitting beside you? Is he a glue eater or not?
I'm not a glue.
So you got to ask.
I'm not a glue eater, unless you want to try it.
I'm not.
I would try it with somebody.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm not against it.
Let me think about it.
Okay.
Now, can I tell you what they used to do? Do you want to know this?
The glue eaters?
Yeah.
What would they do?
They would smear it on their hands and let it dry.
Yeah.
And then they would peel it off like skin, and then they would eat it.
See, we could peel that off and then make a sushi roll and wrap it up. Wrap some sushi and rice up. And
Seeing a side of you I never imagined before.
what is creativity?
Well, the first letters creepy are there.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to do about it?
I don't know. Eat the glue, I guess.
Eat the glue. All right, let's talk about. Let's first talk about these power rankings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Remembering that power rankings for me really involve the momentum that these teams are currently carrying.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there that I would argue about. Appalachian, man, they're playing so hot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost argue that they ought to be at the top.
I found it a stretch to take them up 4 spots.
Okay, that's what your little triangles are for.
Those
how
are
many
for
spots
each.
they've moved.
Yes, how many spots they've moved.
It'd be interesting to. Do you have the graphics from each week?
I do.
It'd be fun to put those up sometime and see how it's changed week to week.
Yeah.
So that would be a basis for a Jekyll and Hyde award if we decided to go that.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think Appalachia shows the most momentum, and they've gone up the most in the poll. It's just hard for me to put them over top of the Picaroons. So
Well, Pungo's they had a stretch there in mid-year where they struggled a little bit, but they've mostly been the model of consistency.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to leave the rankings up while we discuss the games. These are in no particular order, as I don't think the schedule's been set yet. But Tribe going in as the favorite against the Hampton Neptunes. DC favored 2.5.
Well, I'm going to guess that after the way we just busted DC's chops, that they're probably running sims as we speak, trying to get that ship righted.
Yep.
They are 2.5 point favorites, but they're also on the road.
And the Neptunes only lost to Pungo by 1 point last week.
So they're coming off of a pretty solid performance. I think this game goes into overtime.
Ooh, I'd love to see an overtime game.
Overtime games are pretty fun. But I'm going to go with DC to win.
Okay. Well, you can see my selection there as well. I also picked DC.
Okay.
So, okay. Pottsville hosting Pungo. Pungo favored 4.5 points.
I'm so glad we're at home.
Yeah. You've won this game.
Yeah, I beat Pungo on the road.
Yeah.
I think lightning strikes twice. We're going to beat him again.
Oh, I like it. You see my vote too?
Yep.
My vote's with Pottsville.
Yep.
So I think you can do it. I'd like to see you do it.
It's going to be I see Steezy talking their chat about how he's going to beat his head in the wall a bunch before the game. We'll be pretty motivated for this.
Cool.
And I think it'll be a little bit of a feast or famine game in terms of what we're doing defensively right now. It'll either work great or it's going to blow up in a monumental way. And maybe that quarterback for Pungo has 1,000 yards passing this week. We'll see.
Well, it is game of the week, and I think this is the game with the most on the line for a team, and that's you, because you're the only team that it's a do or die moment.
Yep.
So, think very deserving of game of the week. All right, Munich hosting London. Munich favored 5.5 points.
Man, this is a key matchup over there in Europe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Both of them are over there.
Yeah.
And Munich is the slight favorite there, 5.5 points on the spread.
Both teams have clinched playoffs. So let me paint the picture for you. Both teams have clinched playoffs. If Munich wins, they will keep the number 1 seed
Okay.
because they have head-to-head against Pungo.
Ooh, so they have something to play for there.
So you have an automatic week 1 bye in the playoffs if Munich wins.
Okay.
If you lose, you probably lose that.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to go with Munich in this. They've played better down the stretch. I think we'll see that again this week.
I think London has the potential for an upset. But with the Ghost Award given this week, that's the variable in my opinion. And I think the absence of Liam with the London squad could potentially be the downfall of this game. So I also pick Munich.
Okay.
So, last game, another really exciting matchup, is the Demons at the Outlaws. Outlaws favored 6.5 points. A hot Appalachian team, but a hungry Georgia Demons team that needs to win.
I mean, this is what really football is all about. It's Georgia against the world. They're on the road playing against a team who also desperately needs the win. And I know the kind of work that Luke is going to put in to try to, improve his team this week. I'm going with Georgia.
Okay. Well, give me Appalachia. I think they stay hot. If Appalachia gets into the playoffs, everyone should be shaking in their boots.
No doubt.
But this is the most exciting lineup we've had all season of games.
Yeah.
This is a great slate of games that we have. I hope everybody can tune in and watch them live. I think that this is going to be a really fun time the next couple weeks as we get ready for playoffs. But that's good stuff. What I want to hear now, Dave, is if you were a betting man, are there any parlays or player props that might interest you? And if you'd like me to maybe start and set the stage, I'm happy to do so.
Well, you're a much more polished gambler than I am. I haven't bet since my junior year in college on anything of any importance.
Okay.
So give me one.
Let's break this down one game at a time.
All right.
Let's put together what we're going to call a same game parlay.
All right.
Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pick a winner, either straight up winner or on the spread. Okay, and then you're going to pick 1 or 2 prop bets for a player. You can either do say over or under on some rushing yards, over under on some passing yards, maybe a touchdown scorer. Okay.
All right.
So let's take the first game. Tribe and Hampton. I'll go first. Give me Tribe to win. And give me, trying to remember, quarterback for Hampton Roads. I know he was a Corn King fan. I'm blanking on his name. I'm going to find it
I'm going
here.
to help you here. Justin Reside.
Thank you, Reside. Give me Justin Reside over 350 yards passing.
Interestingly enough here, as I'm looking at his build, he has fourth quarter comeback. And you and I know what you and I both think about that particular animation.
It's nasty.
Yeah, it's almost,
It can be nasty.
It can be nasty.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I could see him putting up a lot of passing yards.
Yep. My same game parlay is going to be Tribe to win, but Justin Reside for the Neptunes to have over 350 passing.
My prop bet, I think, is going to be based on our game from last week when Keith Wheeler broke out and had over 200 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Chris Henry from Hampton Roads. He's going to be over 150.
Really?
Yeah.
That payout's going to be huge. You know how many rushing yards he had this past week?
12?
Like 20. Yeah.
Okay. That's why I don't bet.
You could be a millionaire
I
after
could
this
be.
game. All right. How about Pungo and Pottsville? Here's what I have. Steezy, over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown.
Okay. Is that two things, two props?
Yeah, there's two different props.
Okay.
And then I also want Jackson Roberts, quarterback for Pungo, to have another game of over 400 passing.
Okay.
I'm not picking a winner here, but I'm picking players to play.
All right.
Stars are going to shine. Stars that have been shining are going to continue to shine in this matchup. That's my parlay.
Well, Lou Holtz would say about that quarterback from Pungo. What'd you say his name was again?
Jackson Roberts.
Jackson Roberts. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him, would have been how Lou Holtz would have described him in his scouting report.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Pottsville to win the game outright, but Jackson is going to have 800 yards passing.
800?
Sure. Let's go big.
You're playing you.
Well, we're going to win the game.
How are you going to win the game putting up 800
we're
passing?
going to win the game 73-70.
I like that. Okay. Very good. All right, Munich and London. For me on this one, I'm going to take Munich to win. I'm going to take touchdowns for both Pierces, Randy and Nolan.
Ooh.
And I am also going to bet on London's running back Ray King Ball to also have a touchdown. So I want 3 touchdowns here. I want running back for the Knights, and I want Pierce duo for Munich.
I'm going to also take Munich minus the points. I'm going to play the spread here.
Okay.
So Munich minus the points, and I'm going to go a little special teams for you here. Philip DeField
Okay.
will have 2 field goals of over 50 yards.
I like that bet. That's a good one. That's a good prop.
Got to do something there, right?
That's a good prop.
Got to show a little love to the kickers.
Very good. Very good. All right, and then our last same game parlay, going to be for Georgia and Appalachia Outlaws. This one could get a little hairy. Here's what I want. So, quarterback John Barreo had 3 interceptions last game for Georgia. My prop bet is going to be 0 interceptions.
Ooh.
And I also want to bet on a QBR higher than 120.
Wow.
That's what I want to see out of Georgia.
All right. I'm going to pick Georgia to win the game outright. And I think that's going to be on the back of defensive tackle Fikola Petrovic, who's going to rack up 3 sacks.
Okay. Betting on the sacks.
Yeah.
I like that. Derek would love to hear that.
Is that his player?
That's Derek's build.
Sweet.
That's Derek's build.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Well, we are not responsible for any money you may or may not lose while gambling. We do not recommend gambling, but it sure is fun to talk about.
Yeah, right now, I mean, I'm gambling, but there's no money involved, so I mean, I won't have to sweat my way through these games this week.
Oh, I'm going to sweat regardless. But I'm just a sweaty man.
I'm going to go with that and say that my only memory of you during two-a-days was you were pretty sweaty. So, yeah, but everybody else was too.
By the end of 2-a-days, my shirt would stand up on its own.
And walk around.
Group legs and walk around. All right, Dave, this is where we come to the end of the episode. I want to hand the mic over to you. I'm going to give you the last call, the last words. This is our last week of the regular season. So you put in a lot of work as an owner. You were a big part of starting this league up from scratch. So I want to hand it over to you to say whatever words you would like to say, and then we will call this a night.
Well, I'm just going to, I'm thinking, I shared this with you a little bit this morning in thinking about our league overall. I guess you could call this Coach Barr's State of the League address.
Okay.
And I foresee S2 being every bit as close as S1 was. Because there'll be a run kind of on defense next year. People trying to I would imagine the competition during free agency this year is going to be very Shark Tank like in terms of trying to gather up defensive players. So and my thinking here is that we're probably going to go through another season and get to week 10 and have to get a calculator out to figure out who's going to get into playoffs and who's not. One thing that you and I talked about this morning is that I do think that the Commish crew needs to probably get together and consider head-to-head point differentials as part of the tie-breaking process. For this year, it is what it is. We're gonna play it and go with it. But I think we've probably learned a lesson in who imagined that we would get into week 10 and have this in front of us. But I think some of these straight up matchups between teams, we probably need to look at what they did against each other deeper, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In terms of breaking the ties.
That makes sense.
And I also think, too, that this has been really an awesome S1. We're about to finish it and get into the playoffs. And my hope is that the guys who are users in this league will go out and recruit just one more player each, thereby doubling our enrollment.
I like that.
So that and force our hand to consider expansion and to let us get deep into rosters for all of the 8 owners here.
That was good. That was a good call to action. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So very good insight. Dave, you bring a lot to the league as far as ideas and direction and decision making go, and I always appreciate that. So good luck to you this week. Good luck to all of those who signed in to listen to us live. We appreciate you keeping us company. If it weren't for you sitting there ranting in the chat, whether you agree with us or not, we probably wouldn't be doing this. So it means a lot to have people being active in the chat while we do this live here. So
otherwise we're just talking to ourselves.
Right, and I do that enough on my own.
Right.
So good luck to everyone. Let's head off into the playoffs after this. This has been Colin and Dave with the Commish Chat, signing off.
Yeah, we chillin', kicking back, talking all pro plays. From the field to the mic, we got stories for days. Grab a seat, grab a drink, it's the time again. Welcome to the show, where the talk never ends. It's the Ep11, we just talking ball, stats, plays, and the rise and fall. From the big hits to the locker room calls, we break it all down, yeah, we cover it all. No suits, no ties, just friends and mics, talking game day legends and those Friday nights. From the rookies to the vets, every yard, every line. You know we keep it real every single time. Yeah, turn the volume up, feel the vibe in your zone. We're laughing, debating, but it feels like home. From kickoff to overtime, that's the way it's the all-pro fam, and we here to stay. It's the APFA, we just talking ball, stats, plays, and the rise and fall.